welcome back to the podcast. It's been a while. Really hasn't been that long. I think it's been a week. Well, for the people who are watching or listening, it's been 2 weeks. But it is, I don't even know what today is. Today is October 23rd. Probably shouldn't say that on podcast because if I'm going to be showing this or having people listen, they don't want it to be dated. Anyways, since Halloween is on its way, I wanted to do a Halloween themed episode and talk about none other than scary movies. We can always talk about other stuff too if we get a little long in the tooth with the movies. But I wanted to start with scary movies because I am a massive fan of horror and thriller specifically, because I don't think some people who don't watch scary movies don't realize the difference between horror, thriller, and gore horror. So like the difference, just to set the boundaries, gore horror or films that are mostly just for the goriness of it would be Saw or excuse me, probably Saw, or what's that other film? I don't remember. There's another one. All the ones that are very like body parts exploding and blood and guts, whatever. Thriller is what's it? A lot of Hitchcock films, or those are suspense, but arguably can also be thriller. Blair Witch Project would be a thriller suspense. And then what was the other one I said? Horror. Horror would be like a lot of like Poltergeist and a lot of the supernatural phenomenon, paranormal activities and stuff like that. So, and obviously they all commingle as well, but those are some of the boundaries to set. So with that being said, I will let you discuss the first movie in terms of whether it's recommendations for people to watch or you just want to talk about it.
Okay, well, based on what you just said, I eliminated all gory movies, all slasher movies.
Yes.
I've eliminated all going to hell movies, movies that basically are just to get your attention and scare the hell out of you. I just wanted to get movies that were scary, maybe had a little comedy in them, maybe they were different, and maybe people would enjoy them for different reasons. When I was younger, the movies that scared me were Bela Lugosi and Dracula, or Frankenstein, but I'm not including this because they made so many different versions of these type of movies that I'm excluding it. First movie.
Well, hold on, pause real quick. I want to say though, those are classics. So they have sort of gone over the rainbow into the realm of classics. So by all means, they're good films. They may not be scary, or they may not be as potent as they used to be, but they are still classic. So if you are someone who does appreciate that type of film or that genre of scariness, it is worth checking those out. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start with the classic.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the 1925 movie, The Phantom of the Opera, starring Lon Chaney. It was directed by Rupert Julian, and it comes from Gaston Leroux's novel. Now, I found that this movie, I was born in 44, and this movie is 25. I found when I saw this movie, what scared me was Lon Chaney, who played a lot of these offbeat characters, had fantastic makeup, which made him look very, very scary as the Phantom of the Opera, as opposed to the Phantom of the Opera today that was on Broadway, and the film that was made where they just covered the guy's eye with a mask. And, that was supposed to be the scary part. But if you want to start off with the classic, it's 1925 Phantom of the Opera. And then if you want to see how they upgraded it to modern times, by all means, go look at the modern movies, Phantom of the Opera.
The modern one is a lot prettier, and it's what's his name? What's that? What that actor? He's like
Butler.
Gerard
Gerard
Butler.
Butler.
Yeah. I love Gerard Butler. I like his work. And
By
I
the way,
do-
he's a lawyer. By the way, you know.
he's a lawyer.
Yeah, I think from Australia. Either
Oh, not
needed a few months to complete this course, or he did complete his course and found it boring and went into acting.
Oh, all right. Well, at least he found his passion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was looking at that as you were saying that. I looked up the old Phantom of the Opera. That is, I'm genuinely bothered by that. So by all means, yeah, that actually. So sidebar, super quick. That was something I discovered when I was taking some of my film classes when I was in college. Some of these old films, and I think this happens with a lot of media. It comes out and it's got a certain potent essence to it, and then a certain amount of years go by and either everyone's seen it or the genre of that sort of dies out and it becomes less potent and it affects people less, so it's not as scary. People don't care about Frankenstein or Dracula or whatever, and then it hits a point in the future where people will come back to it and go, oh crap, I am scared. And honestly, like that's how I feel about that old Phantom. I'm looking at that going, oh my god, he looks like a ball sack. But he's
Yep.
scary. He's scary. Meanwhile, you see Gerard Butler with a half mask thing, and he looks great. He doesn't look like
Mhm.
the Phantom that's in this movie. Jesus. Anyways,
Yep.
I digress.
So, what's your movie?
We're doing 101s. Okay. I think I guess I'll just start with one of my more favorite ones, which is a film called Deliver Us from Evil. And that is obviously part of I don't know what kind of prayer it was, but it's a Christian prayer. Deliver us from evils, from one of the prayers. Anyways, the film itself is considered a horror thriller. It came out in 2014. And it's a detective cop, ex-cop kind of investigating some phenomenon. You've seen a lot of films like that where you get like the cop who thinks it's a crime and it ends up being some sort of supernatural thing. As someone who's seen a lot of horror movies and is also not a fan of gore horror, I really, really liked this one. It had the right level of creepiness and thriller and scariness to it that I genuinely was caught off guard and scared of what was happening. Because a lot of times for me, I like films that sort of build up my suspense and paid off well, or don't, because Blair Witch Project was great.
See, I didn't like Blair Witch Project.
I liked
I-
Blair Witch is a rare case because it was the first of its kind in terms of found footage films. And I've never been able to see a film that has successfully recreate what Blair Witch has done, which is that,
Okay.
that concept. I will spoil this one and this one only. So cover your ears for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Blair Witch, the whole film is suspense and you see nothing at the end. You don't see the ghost or the thing that's been chasing them. The camera just falls over and people die. It's assumed because there's a scream and the camera keeps rolling sideways. And then that's it. The movie ends.
Shame.
So, but I would argue, as someone who watched this at like 16 in my room in the dark at like 2 a.m, I loved it. Yeah. So I think it was a great film. But again, it's a one-time deal, and if you know the ending or you have seen it already, you can't watch it again because you have to watch it for nostalgic purposes. You can't watch it with the same fear or enjoyment versus something like Deliver Us from Evil. I think you can. I think you can watch this multiple times and be like, no, this was pretty decent. And it's interesting too, because Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 29%. And I'm kind of surprised at that because I thoroughly enjoyed it. Simultaneously, scary films don't tend to do well with Rotten Tomatoes.
Maybe we should start our own rating service and like call it Rotten Cucumbers or something like
Let's do it. We're gonna patent it.
that.
We're gonna patent it. I'll start working on the patent this week.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, this is also coming from when I say like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb rated this or Metacritic rated this low, these are also people who rated Paranormal Activity high, and Paranormal
Mhm.
Activity was never good. I remember people, everyone, oh, Paranormal Activity, oh my God, people being sent to the hospital. No, I saw 3 of them, and I was like, what the hell am I watching? I thought the overall plot between like the 4 or 5 of them was kind of neat, but I didn't find them scary. After like the first half hour, I realized what they were doing. Every film, it's just misdirection. Oh, the kid goes down for his pen, and we think something scary is going to go on, so they prolong they have these awkward pauses and awkward empty rooms, and then they just quick cut to someone doing work, or the kid pops up from the desk and goes back to doing his work. There's nothing scary about it, but it builds up our expectations, and then we get let down, and we get let down so many times that when something actually scary happens, we get caught off guard. So
Okay.
I understand that process, and because I understand that process, I got bored of it after one movie. So I don't. It might be the same thing as the Blair Witch Project effect, in that
Okay.
once you see like one, the rest of the found footage films kind of get boring. But that's my take on Paranormal Activity, and that's why I would argue that something like Deliver Us from Evil is a halfway decent scary film.
Okay.
So go ahead, yours is next.
Well, I'm a big fan of Alfred Hitchcock, the director. He did Rear Window, he did The Birds,
Birds, yes.
but I like Psycho because I was 16 years of age, and this movie was in 1960. It had beautiful people in there. I mean, physically beautiful people. Anthony Perkins, well, he wasn't beautiful to me. Janet Leigh, Vera Miles, 2 gorgeous women, John Gavin, who was a very handsome man. And the premise was Janet Leigh escapes with $40,000 that she absconded from her boss's company. She's hiding out in the famous Bates Motel, which they later made a TV series with.
Yeah, they did.
On TV.
Freddie Highmore? Is that his name?
Yeah, Hightower.
No,
Highmore.
Freddie. I think it's Freddie Highmore is the actor's name, and then I'm forgetting the mother's name, which I know.
Vera Farmiga.
Yes.
Okay, so this was a very, very, very well acted movie with a lot of people getting hurt, and something occurs in the shower, which I'm not going to mention. But let me just say this. I saw this movie by myself. I was 16 years of age, so I thought I was approaching manhood. Nothing should bother me. But I watched it myself, and I did not want to take a shower by myself in the house for at least a week. And that because it unnerved me. It definitely unnerved me. And the character that Anthony Perkins played was really split personality, and his mother in the rocking chair, who you find out later was someone else, unnerved me. The Bates Motel, looking at it, unnerved me. It had all the background of something is going to go wrong, and something did go wrong over and over again. So I recommend this movie for anybody who's not seen it. I've seen it multiple times, and I think this is a true classic, Psycho.
Yes, I agree with that. And I also agree, I really liked Anthony Perkins in that in when he did this film. That was really, really good. Yeah, Hitchcock is known as the master of suspense, so by all means, go through his entire filmography. Um, so, yeah. um, One I'm gonna bring up is, I believe it's arguably a classic by now. Is Children of the Corn. Children
Oh,
of the
yeah. Which
uh,
one?
uh,
Was it the original or was it Children of the Corn, where the corn is popcorn or the corn is
no, no,
boiled corn? No, I'm
I
joking.
believe I believe the original, right?
Yeah, yeah, because they were, as soon as they usually have a horror movie that's successful, they make sequels, and there were a few sequels to that.
Um, is it wait, is it the it's the 1984 one, right? Or is it the newer one? Oh no, I'm
I don't
having an
know.
issue now. What's the I can't
I don't,
find the
I don't know. It's not on my list as one of my
no, no,
favorites.
it is the 1984 one. Yes, yes.
I mean,
I'm having a
it
whole
was a
ass
good
moment
movie.
here.
It
Anyways,
was a good movie.
Children of the Corn. This film, if I can find the proper one and I make sure I know that I'm talking about the correct one. Um, yeah,
You
if I can
wanna
find the right one.
you wanna look for it, and I'll go on to the next one.
Well, let me talk about it first. Children of the
Okay.
Corn. This may be a bias of mine, because I have never lived in true country land. But
What do, what do
what?
you mean by that? You lived on a farm.
Well, I wouldn't say a farm. It was still in New Jersey. I'm talking like cornfields in Kansas and or like Ohio and stuff. You know, like Midwest fields and like landlocked places. Um,
Okay.
it may be a bias of mine because I've always been sort of on the coastal. Um, it scares the crap out of me. I get bothered by that film. It's a great film, and that's exactly why it's a great film is because I get bothered. Um, this film may be only effective to coastal people because, like,
Hmm.
when I see these kids coming out of the corn in this town being run by a bunch of kids from the corn, like, scares the crap out of me. Um, it leaves like a bad taste in my mouth afterwards, and I'm uncomfortable. Um, the I believe it's the original one. If I can, if when you go into the next one, I will find and make sure that the one I'm talking about is the original, um, because that's the one that was scary because it's got the practical effects, it's got the more creative shots in it cinematically. It's got more creative shots because a lot of films nowadays have sort of a system, no shots longer than a certain amount of seconds, this and that and this and that, and they've sort of lost their way in terms of creativity. So that one's very, very open and different than what we see today. So yeah, absolutely, that is that's on my recommend. That's one of the top ones to go see.
Well, I have one. It's not on my list. It just popped up in my head. That's one of the favorites of your mother. It. Now, it,
Which It though, the original or the newer one?
the original It.
Okay.
That original It even scared me. And your mother was scared because she's scared of clowns. And its premise is there's a killer in town, and it's a clown, and he's taking the children and the people from the town, and he's taking them into a sewer, and they're trying to find out who he is and where they're going. And a group of young kids they group together, about five of them. I don't have the cast members in front of me because this just popped up into my mind. And they try to find one of their lost friends who the clown supposedly took. And now to jump ahead to the sequel, they come back as adults because after every some amount of years, this clown comes back, and they thought that the clown was gone, and the clown is doing the same thing again, and they're scared, and they go back as adults and they try to rectify the situation. So I would say one was the better of the two. Two was more was interesting because the adult actors were perhaps better. So I would say see it 1 and 2.
Yeah. So I want to build on that a little bit. The original It had Tim Curry as the clown. And in the newer one we have what's his name? Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård, I think.
I don't know. There's so many Scott guys. There's like
I know
roaches.
there's a bunch of them. I think Skarsgård did an amazing job as It, and I like them both as them. I am I have a bias towards practical effects though, because I don't know, they feel more real to me. So seeing Tim Curry in makeup and the fake teeth or the faces he was making, and seeing the way that they made him scary versus Skarsgård through CGI and stuff, I favor Tim Curry's a little more. At the same time, I do agree with you that in the newer version, the adult actors are way better. But I would also say, without spoiling either one, the ending to both of them, crap. The new and the old one, I hated it. The old one is a single movie. It's 2.5 hours. And it was, for those who don't know, It is based off of Stephen King's novel, It. And it was a long, long book. It was like 1,400 pages or something.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely should have been a two-parter. But when Tim Curry did it, really no one did two-parters like that. So they did it in one. It was 2.5 hours. And it could have benefited from being like 2:45 instead of 2:30, because that extra 10 minutes would have fleshed out the ending a little better. Because I've read the book, and seeing that ending was a huge letdown. It felt like a Hitchcock film. It felt like they sort of just like, oh, ending's done. Good. We're done. Credits. And it was like, you built up all this like energy and this suspense, and I want to see it. And now I don't get to see it.
Yeah, because they're always leaving you hanging in case they want to have a sequel again.
Yeah. So yeah. I want to actually talk about that in 1 second. The newer one, same thing. Not a fan of the ending. The ending on that one was a lot longer, and it fleshed it out better. It was better, but still wasn't a huge fan of it. I do like, from an artistic standpoint, what the second one did, which was sort of add a level of creative, a visual creative atmosphere that the first one couldn't, because they didn't have that technology. So that's what I appreciate about the new ones. In terms of leaving people hanging, to get back to that, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I think a lot of films, not even in the horror genre, but just films in general, have a tendency to leave things on a cliffhanger, leave things on an open note. And that's because companies nowadays will make a film and 5 to 10 years later go, oh, let's revisit, or let's add and build to this story world. And it sucks, because sometimes the best way to close the film out is to close and tie all the knots, and sometimes tying those knots doesn't have to be good. It can be bad. It can be the killer lives on, or like the killer won, or the demon won, like whatever. But I don't need to constantly be told he's on the prowl, he's coming around, don't be scared, he's everywhere. Screw off. Just end the film. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But I think a trend right now is a lot of films are sort of keeping it open-ended.
Yeah, that's why you need a good editor.
Yeah,
it's important. Yeah.
Let's see. I guess I can talk about Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers is 1 and 2. Were there 3 or was it 2?
There were 4.
Oh crap. No, I wouldn't go that far. I would say probably the first 2. Anything after the first 2 sort of starts to get a little shaky. So The first Jeepers Creepers, this was probably at the height of my horror film watching. Somewhere in high school, I discovered, no, before high school, I discovered scary films, but like I really got into it and sunk my teeth into it around freshman year of high school. Probably around junior year, senior year was where I really was at my peak, where I was like, I had seen tons of films, I'd sought them out, I'd looked them up and watched them, and I was really sort of almost immune to these films. And I was just looking for something to re-excite me. I found Jeepers Creepers because you told me about it. And damn, it's a good film. It's a good film. What is it? Is it the 80s or the 90s that
2001 was the first one.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I mean that late.
Yeah.
Wow, why did I think it was the 90s? Interesting. Okay, well,
time goes by.
Anyway,
I think they just had one 2000. I think they had one 2019 too.
Oh God, no! They have one this year. Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Oh my God. Yeah, no, there's 3, and then the 4th one's coming out or came out this year. Absolutely not. I haven't seen the 3rd one. I may go see it just for the hell of it and then see the 4th. But the first 2 are solid. I really liked those. Again, I am a deep fan when it comes to scary movies of creepy. I want to finish the film and have to check over my shoulder. Like I want to feel like I'm being watched by Anthony Perkins from Psycho. I want to feel like Jeepers Creepers is flying over my head right now. And not in the sense of like, oh, he's gonna pull all my guts out and wear it as a belt. No, I the creepiness of the character and the story, and I don't necessarily need to be jump scared because I tend to be able to predict when I'm going to be jump scared, and I end up just laughing because it just gets funny. Like that happened with The Nun. I almost got kicked out of the movie theater because I was with like 5 or 6 of my friends, and it was so not scary because I was pulling out so many plot errors and plot holes. And I was also being like, okay, watch this. Like she's going to ring this bell and the ghost is going to pop up right here. And I went 3, 2, 1, and it happened. And I was doubled over in pain from laughing to the point where 2 or 3 people were yelling at me to shut up.
Yeah, you told me.
And I'm not usually one to talk in films, especially in a theater, because I think that's very rude. But like the theater was packed because this was like opening night. I was in pain from laughing so hard. It was the most non-scary film of my life. And then the ending was just terrible. And I'm gonna spoil this one because you don't need to see it. So keep your ears.
There's no ending.
No, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. So in the end, in The Nun, there's
The Nun you're talking about.
In The Nun, they find the part of the story is they find this little glass orb from the Knights Templar or whatever, and there's the blood of Jesus Christ in it, and they had it in this church, and this church grounds that this nun stalks apparently never found this blood of Jesus Christ in there. They've been in the same spot, like in the same building for centuries, and they never found it. And it ends with this girl having a showdown with the demon beast nun and is being drowned. And you're like, oh no, she's not going to make it. And the girl gets pulled up out of the water. The nun sees that the ball is broken, and she looks at the girl, and the girl spits the blood of Jesus onto the face of the nun, and the nun gets sucked back down to hell. Oh my God. I would love to know who was coked up enough to write that as a plot point for a scary film. She's going to break the glass underwater and put the blood of Christ in her mouth and then spit it onto a demon nun so that it somehow like nothing was apparently good enough to kill her. She had hundreds of crosses, but the blood of Christ was enough to send her back to hell. And then the movie ends we find out that another kid, one of the kids who was at this final showdown, has like an upside down cross on his neck, and the nun lives on, and it's part of the Conjuring. The nun is part of the Conjuring universe. Annabelle, the Conjuring 1, 2, and 3, Annabelle, creation, all that stuff. The nun is the origin story of all these hauntings. So you mean to tell me after this whole film, this girl literally spat the blood of Jesus Christ on this demon? Jesus, the one every film claims to have the power to defeat these things. That couldn't kill this demon. So what the hell was the point of the film? What was the point? Why?
I know, but you just killed the film. You just killed the film for anybody who wants to watch it.
I don't care because it's a bad film. It's a terrible film.
Okay.
Oh my God. It's so ugly.
Did you start to laugh at that point? Did you laugh at that point?
I was in tears. I said, why the hell did she just do that? She could have just threw the glass orb on her head. Like, you didn't need to put it in your mouth and spit it. What the hell? Oh my God. Oh, I gotta come off this. Anyways, I gotta get back to Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers is a great, great, great film. Another one of those early films that sort of, I don't know, just does a good job. It was before the sort of Xerox era of like Paranormal Activity, or some of the newer horror films tend to have a sort of Xeroxy feel where everything's sort of copy paste and cutting corners and crap. Jeepers Creepers leaves me feeling creeped. Creeper makes me feel creepy.
Yeah. Victor Salva was the director. He did a good job.
Yeah, he did a very good job with that film.
Yeah.
So,
and I highly recommend it also. And I found it a whoa movie. I give it 5 woes out of 5. That was a whoa movie.
This one, Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's fair. Yes. I agree with that one. I thought you were leading that into whatever film you were going to talk about. No, okay.
No. Well,
no, I agree with that. I agree. Jeepers Creepers is definitely a whoa film.
Yeah. Another movie that I'm getting into is a classic. It's Jaws. Jaws 1. Jaws was from 1975 with Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, and Lorraine Gary. It was done by Steven Spielberg. And it's about the great white shark that is attacking
civilians.
The resort town and the mayor. And the town council does not want to call off that special holiday weekend because it brings in all the revenue for the summer. And the sheriff, who is Roy Scheider, disagrees. Pandemonium occurs. And after I saw that movie, and I heard the theme song, boom, 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 when the shark was coming, I literally did not want to go into the water because I used to take my raft and go out deep in the water and lie in my raft and float, get a burn, and I didn't want to go out anymore. I try to stay in close, and even to today, I live in across the street from the ocean, and I will not go out because, you've been visiting. There's some sharks.
Well, there's some
not great
sharks.
Yeah, not some great white.
Well, and so it's interesting that you brought that up, and it makes me realize a few things. One, by all means, that's a great Halloween film and thriller. Simultaneously, it doesn't fit the theme of Halloween films that we have now. Prior to, I want to say 2005, 2000, I think the 2000s was sort of the end of the era, but anything before 2000, you see a lot of animal films regarding thriller and suspense and horror. Jaws, The Birds, I think there's one called The Insects.
Mhm.
There's, I think there was one that came out in the 2000s called like Piranhas or something, and they're all similar to The Birds and Jaws, where it's sort of animals taking over or animals wreaking havoc. And that may have been a trend that just died out, but I think it's an important one to pay attention to because we don't, to my knowledge, I haven't seen films like that in a while. And it's not a bad idea because The Birds, Hitchcock, is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite Hitchcock films is The Birds. Um, because it's wonderful. It's so uncomfortable. It makes you feel uncomfortable the whole film. And the ending, I would argue this ending is probably one of Hitchcock's best because Hitchcock is notorious for having crappy endings. This is, in my opinion, I think it's a great ending uh, to the overall film. Uh, but yeah, Jaws is a wonderful film, a thriller, which
Yeah, it's gory. It's gory.
well, it's gory, but I don't know. That's a 1975 film. You can't really get too gory with that. Um,
Well,
so
when
you know,
well,
I
you see, you know that the shark, although they did their best, is not real. But the
yeah,
shark had a voracious appetite, and he ate a lot of people.
well, of course, and
And
mind you, also, so Jaws is a classic, and almost everyone knows about Jaws. If you are listening and you or watching and you don't know about Jaws, this is a judgment-free zone. That is why we are recommending it. Uh,
yep,
so by all means, if you haven't seen Jaws, go see Jaws.
yep,
um, yeah, I think animal and insect films need to be done more.
hmm
Because I've seen a few. Like there's one called the Anaconda. Garbage, absolute hot flaming
Oh,
garbage.
oh, she was hot.
Might
She
be.
was hot. She was hot and flaming.
I'm not talking about
She was.
Nicki Minaj. I'm not
No, I'm not
talking.
talking about Nicki Minaj. That was what's her name from the Bronx. The one who's going out with Ben Affleck.
J Lo?
J Lo is an anaconda.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah,
No, she is she. Wait, no way. She is. Oh my god.
yeah. That's why the anaconda wanted her butt.
Oh
Yeah, she
my
was gorgeous.
god.
She was gorgeous in that. And I have a fear of snakes.
Oh,
So
Ice
that
Cube's in
film,
it too.
yeah, let the anaconda get him. But I have a
God.
fear of snakes. So I watched that movie because of her and my fantasy about her when she was younger. But I can't watch it anymore because I hate snakes.
No, Anaconda's a hot, flaming garbage movie. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I agree. I agree.
It's awful. But my point is I think that there is a market for insect or animal horror that is untouched because there's so many bad ones that you like Jaws and the Birds is it. Like I haven't seen any other ones, piranhas, anaconda, the insects, whatever, all garbage.
Well, dunes. You have the worms.
Oh no, I saw that too. Again, that was just like
Yeah,
ah,
they come out in dunes. The dunes. They come out and they eat you.
yeah,
They pull
I
you
don't
under the
know.
skin.
That one I guess that one has some weight. That one made me more uncomfortable and not in the sense of an entertaining way. That one, I don't know what about that one made me feel that way. And again, that may be what you're looking for as someone who's looking for these scary
Mm-hmm.
movies. I'm not a fan of it, not a huge fan of it. I'll rate it higher than Anaconda, but I'm not putting it
Mm-hmm.
anywhere near the Birds or Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I have six more movies with no big long synopsis that are funny but scary as all hell.
all right. Let's, I want you to rattle them off.
Okay. The one that scared me was The Exorcist.
Yes.
With The Exorcist was with Linda Blair, Ellen Burstyn, Max von Sydow, and Lee J. Cobb. It's about a girl who has something inside of her that won't go away, and the priests can't fight it off until they can fight it off. Well,
Right.
can they fight it off? And it scared the heck out of me. There was expectoration, there was floating, there was cursing, there was the distortion of the faces of the actors. I mean, it really scared the bejesus out of me. And William Friedkin, who was the director, who was a good director, he did a very good job. The second one, you want me to rattle it off, right?
Yeah, real quick, I just want to say The Exorcist, the original, because I believe there was a redo of it.
The original, yeah.
The original one is the scariest, and to this day, it is known in the horror film as a
Yeah,
very,
and
very scary movie. And
yeah, and
multiple
it had
people died from that film.
Yes,
Like
I
in
was
real
just going
life.
to say that.
Yeah, in real life,
yeah.
multiple people died or were physically and actually haunted by what they claim was spirits of demonic beings from working on this set. So
Yeah, and from that movie, after that movie, they said this can be something, that can affect you, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, and. So anyway, then there's a movie that's very little known, Phantasm.
oh my
which
God,
is-
yes.
with the tall man and midgets and flying whatever they were. It's about murders that are occurring in a small town, and always there's a large limousine with the tall man, ugly tall man, and his cohorts with him, and somebody tries to find out why these people are missing, and they go into his mausoleum, and all havoc breaks loose, and all these strange midgets and little people come out. And excuse me, I don't mean any slurs against little people, but it was scary as all hell. And to this day, they've made a few of them. I only saw the first one, and that's enough. That was enough. And that was 1979.
Yeah.
Then a little lighter side was The Lost Boys, which took place in California. Jason Patric, Corey Haim, Diane Wiest, and who was the actor from 24 on television?
Actor from 24, I don't know.
I forgot his name. Very famous actor.
Keith,
Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah, he started in there as a teenager also, and
okay.
it's about this family who moves to California, and their children try to get acclimated to the California lifestyle, and lo and behold, there's a group of boys, and guess what they are? Lost because they're vampires.
Oh.
And the turmoil that occurs because they are vampires is really well acted, enjoyable. And I don't know what they got ratings, and I don't care about ratings because you know what I always say, everybody's opinion, everybody has one, and everybody has, you know what.
Yes.
So that was a 1987 movie by Joel Schmoka, and I think it was a really good movie, and people should watch if they like a light vampire movie with a little comedy in it.
Okay.
The next one was American Werewolf in London, which
Okay.
David Norton and Griffith Dunn backpack in London, and lo and behold, one of them gets bit by a werewolf. And the turmoil again that occurs because this is modern day England, and he gets bit by a werewolf, and how he affects their relationship in the town and what's happening, and there's comedy in it, and very good director, John Landis. John Landis did this, and I recommend it if you want something light, enjoyable. It's not going to scare you. The makeup was very, very good.
Yeah. I've
Uh,
definitely seen or saw at least part of this film on television as a kid when I probably was too young to be watching it.
yeah.
But nonetheless, I've seen parts of it and it's pretty good.
Uh, Another one is Poltergeist from 1982.
Yes.
Poltergeist, where the little girl gets caught on the other side, and they have to try to find her. Craig T. Nelson was in that, and Joe Beth Williams. The acting was good. It was believable, um, and it was well worth seeing. It was directed by Toby Hooper, and again, it's going to keep you very interested
Yeah.
and make you think. Can something like this happen? Because they do believe, many people believe in poltergeists.
Right.
I'll keep going and then we'll get to you, okay?
Yeah.
Uh, Two modern movies. 2017, Get Out. Get Out was, it's time to take my date back home to visit my parents.
Yeah.
And it's with Daniel Katea, Allison Williams, Catherine Keener, who always does a good job, Bradley Whitford. It was directed by Jordan Peele, who has done many other mixed movies of horror. And we have a beautiful white girl taking a very handsome black young man home to visit his parents, her parents. And when he gets there, he finds that everybody there has a black entourage. All the whites
Right.
have black entourage. It's like little down south
Yeah.
during the Civil War. And he feels uncomfortable. And
And then it goes downhill from there.
it goes downhill from there. And it's very intriguing. And the ending is fantastic.
It's I have yet to see it. I've had so many conversations about this with in
Oh,
film classes and what have you. I need to see it. By the way, it's Daniel Kaluuya, Kaluuya. And by the way, Jordan Peele, ridiculously amazing director. He also did Us, which is another phenomenal film. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
You told me about Us. I didn't like it.
Well,
But,
it's I don't remember if Us was the one that he claimed.
that's with Lomiga. That's with some
Lupita.
Lapita. Yeah,
Lupita, yeah,
I didn't like it.
yeah. I think Jordan Peele is very much into these sort of psychological thrillers, and I think
Yeah.
that's very much in line with my taste as well. I
Mhm.
like psychological thrillers as well that are scary but also very heady. So which is why I know I'm gonna like Get Out, and I know and I would enjoy Us. So, anyways,
Yeah.
without
Okay. So you have one more, but again, you got to see Get Out.
yeah,
The last one, I've always been interested in people with split personalities, and the movie Split from
yeah,
2016, where James McAvoy and a series of young girl actors, plus Betty Buckley, who's not a young girl actor, but a wonderful actor. He has 24 personalities, and he captures this group of girls, and keeps them in his basement. And throughout the film, you see his different personalities pop up, from a gentle person to a total maniac to blah, 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 different personalities. Scared the living hell out of me because you didn't know who was going to pop up.
yeah,
And that was done by a fellow, I'm not a fan of his works, although I've seen everything he's done, M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Uh, but I enjoyed this immensely, and I highly recommend it. And it'll keep you on the edge until the end, and I won't tell you what the end is.
Yes. Don't spoil anything.
Yeah, and
I
there was
think
a sequel. There was a sequel.
yes, there was. It's called Glass.
Yeah.
Um, I think M Night Shyamalan's done amazing work. I think as someone who needs to do more research and sort of learn more directors, M Night Shyamalan is, I would say, similar to Jordan Peele for me in the sense of like I I like their work. Like most of their stuff, I will probably enjoy because I do like the direction that they tend to go in. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful concepts, both of those films. Um, yeah, I can't really say much on it because I need to do more research on it. But yeah, M Night Shyamalan and Jordan Peele, my definite genre. Um, and Split is phenomenal. James McAvoy is ridiculous in his roles. So yes, um, I don't have a ton to give because we really discussed a lot of the goodies, and I don't really want to get too deep into others. I have a few, which would probably be The Conjuring 1 and 2, um, maybe 3, meh. Conjuring 1 and 2, definitely. Um, oh, I just lost. Well, The Birds, obviously, we discussed, but that's definitely one. Um, oh, no, I just lost. I had one or two more. Um, Sad
Well, the
day.
Birds was with Tippi Hedren and Rod Taylor, and they were excellent in it.
Yes, I agree. Damn, I lost the other two. Yeah. Oh, um, Silence of the Lambs is a great one. I think that's a wonderful thriller. That's a another detective thriller similar to Delivers from Evil. It's a very much like a detective working on a case. There's nothing supernatural about Silence from the Lambs. It is just a good thriller, suspense film. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah, I can't really think off the top of my head because I lost the other one that I was going to bring up. But I think between the two of us, I think we covered the best ones. There's most definitely like some really, really solid ones that we're forgetting, but that's fine. And yet again, just as a reminder, these are films that and I would argue that you like that are very far from things like Chucky, from Saw, from Final Destination. I am not a fan of those types of films because they're gory and the entire premise is just bad guy or bad thing killing people. Saw just not enjoyable for me. So like I know a really fucked up one or like the ones that really really bother me more so than like Final Destination or Chucky would be the Saw films and then stuff like Human Centipede and Tusk. So or The Platform. The Platform is a newer film. That one's um that one's got a little depth to it. It's got some depth to it that has something to say rather than just being a scary film. And though I appreciate that aspect of it, not a fan. Not a fan of those types of films. By all means, if you are looking for that sort of shock value gore horror thing, Chucky, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, Final Destination, Saws 1 through 75, and then Tusk and Human Centipede. Those are all very, and The Platform. Those are all very, very visually jarring films. There's nothing scary emotionally or psychologically, but it's psychologically scarring. So,
Let me just intercede. You just said psychologically. In today's society, where young people are on perhaps depressed or having a hard time finding jobs, uh, and things could be better for young people. We don't need to have movies that might set them off where there's stabbings and sores and brutal killings.
Yeah.
Light, scary movies is fine, but you don't need triggers. And in my day, uh, people came back from the war, and then there was the Korean War, and okay, things weren't great, but we didn't have people going around shooting in schools and
Yeah.
hurting people. So we don't need those type of movies. And I know we rate our films and we rate our television shows and we rate the streamings and give warnings, but I think that we're best not having those type of movies anymore.
Yeah, I can agree with you to an extent. I think there's certain films, and we don't have to get into it now. We can definitely do that on the next one. But yeah, I think there's definitely films out there that I'm happy were made when they were, whether they're good, bad, or in between. Because I think if they were made in today's society, we'd have a lot of people trying to copy those things. Like The Purge is a good example. The Purge 1 through 7 or whatever.
Good 7.
It gets to a point where those films get ridiculous. But like The Purge is a good example. It's like people, I remember, I think it was after the third Purge, there were people who were trying to copy acts that were done in the films, and it starts to become a problem because these are films. They're made up, they're fake. You cannot be copying these things and killing people. So, yeah. But with that, I think we'll close out. You got a whole bunch of films for anyone who's listening. You've got all the time. And guess what? You don't have to just watch these during Halloween. You can watch them whenever the hell you want. I watch
and enjoy them.
Right. I watch scary movies during Christmas because who doesn't need a little excitement during the holidays?
Yeah, enjoy. That's right.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
So, anyways, see you next time. I can't tell you what we're going to do next because I don't know. See ya.
Peace out. Peace out.